Hi, I'm Yelena. I'm here in the Shepherd Studio, and today we're going to be talking about coronavirus, quarantine, and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm going to let my three other podcast members introduce themselves.
Ahmari here. I'm a senior, and yeah.
Uh,
Hi, I'm Dalia. I am a junior here at Shepherd.
I'm Jaime, and I'm a junior here at Shepherd.
Awesome. I am a senior. This is my second year in the TV studio. Um, and so we are going to start talking about just before COVID, before we even realized any of this stuff was going on. Ahmari, you were telling us about how you had some unique experiences with just like the things you were able to do.
Yeah, I actually did. I used to go to conventions and I used to cosplay, and that was like a giant thing that I wanted to do this summer. And it was like probably one of the best experiences that I've had. I was really looking forward to it, but because of COVID, like all conventions got shut down. And I feel like not being able to experience going out and socializing with new people or expressing myself in that way, it's kind of like a
Hmm?
bit taking a toll on me and all that.
Yeah.
Jaime, yeah, you agree. You also had some like big social events you couldn't really go to anymore, right?
Yeah, it was when I was it was outside Shepherd. I used to go to the soccer team I had.
Mm.
And then after quarantine started, which like where all like the news started coming about coronavirus, um the coach called us and said that it was gonna be canceled until further notice, and then here we are, and it hasn't started, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, and I think that just the general theme is like neither of you guys, I'm sure, expected, and I'm sure Dalia, like you would agree that you never expected things to get as bad as they were, or even like you guys were saying, like you just said, Jaime, like you never thought that you thought that we would go back, like we would be back by now, and that's just not the reality. Do you like have any additional thoughts on that, Dalia?
For us, so it was my sophomore year
Está
of
afuera.
and we were prepared. We were getting ready for our first game, which was going to be March 30th. And that was the initial date where they told us, hey, we're going to come back March 30th. And we're like, okay, we need to practice on our own. And obviously that didn't happen. So we really never had a first game.
Yeah, you never got the opportunity to do all that. And that really is just a sharp reality of now, like what is happening now. So like what life is like now that we've accepted that. I know for me, e-learning is definitely a new thing. Do you guys, um, Ahmari, Dalia, do you guys have any unique experiences with e-learning? Any opinions on it?
Um, well, personally, I mean, e-learning's fine, but like I have a hard time waking up every day, so it's kind of like difficult for me to keep doing that. Like at least at school, I'm like motivated, but staying at
Yeah.
home all day, it kind of like takes that motivation away. Makes me a
Mm-hmm.
bit more lazy sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree. And for me, when we did remote learning in the spring, it was more of like, oh, okay, this is just gonna pass by. We'll all be fine. And then compared to now, I do lack the motivation of getting work done because I am more of I need somebody in person to teach me, and I learn better that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yes, I definitely understand that. Like, just it's like school environment, and it's inherently kind of motivating. Um, but even like outside of e-learning, I feel like a lot is going on even in our current world that I don't know if you guys like would agree that political changes, changes in just how we as a society are viewing our government, and even like everything else that's happening, this death. It's like a lot going on as well, in addition to the stress now that is placed on us by e-learning.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I feel that with, everyone stuck in quarantine and people just like, having their thoughts to themselves, a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
have like opened up to like, new ideals. And like, you could think of this as like back then, the Enlightenment, that everyone just started to think like at a higher level. But like, I'd say this is like a modern version of that. Everyone's like, they're starting to either think like radical, or they're starting to think, open-minded about things that normally we wouldn't see back in the years before. But like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of happy they took this change, because like honestly we did need change. But you know I guess 2020 is just a year for that.
Yeah. I don't know if Dalia or Jaime, if you guys have any like additions to that, but definitely like everything that's going on, it's kind of scary, but it is also an interesting like change. Like change is cool, and it's cool that we get to live through this chapter of history.
For me personally, I've seen a lot of people on social media talk about, I hope 2020 ends. Can 2020 just end? And for me personally, how I'm taking this pandemic and this remote learning, I'm personally just taking it day by day, focusing
Mm-hmm.
on what today is, because even though we're in this pandemic, beautiful things can still happen. You can still enjoy life from a safe distance. You can still do other things, though sure it may be modified, such as you have to wear a mask, you have to be socially distanced. That for me personally, I feel like that shouldn't still kind of close you off. And because a lot of people have dealt with their mental health with this, and this is a great opportunity to whoever you are going to quarantine with to actually focus on yourself and things around you. So I think that just because we're going through a rough time, we should still try to look through, through the clouds and see that like light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely be more conscious, like you're saying, of yourself, and that's great. I think that does lend itself now to how we are looking for the future, because especially as we were saying earlier, as Jaime was saying earlier, like we didn't realize that things were going to be at this point. So now, like, what is our future? Like, what are we anticipating for that to look like? And like you were saying, Dalia, I think you had a really beautiful way of looking at it, like just a hopefulness of like, we get to experience these things. Ahmari, do you have any thoughts about like your future, like, oh, what the soon future is going to look like considering COVID?
Um, I feel like a lot of people, like a lot of schools, are just going to be more careful about things, and hopefully, um, we try to take more action with like a sort of pandemic type style that we are now. Because I feel like the way things are right now is because we didn't take enough action. So I hope in the future that things do get better, like we all get better, and that we can go out without masks and all that. But
Yeah,
right now, like, I feel like from the future, hopefully we take more action and precaution. Really.
exactly.
Yeah.
Jaime, do you have any?
Yeah. Like I said, when I want to see like if in the future if they're gonna keep it like this clean, like if they're gonna go back to how it was, or if they're gonna like, you know
Yeah.
how in stores they have like more cleanliness, amusement
Mm-hmm.
parks are starting to open and like they're being more clean, and I wonder if it's gonna be like this in the future.
Yes, if the
Yeah.
government is going to continue to take precautions and ensure that this isn't, because they can't just let another pandemic happen again.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I think that if you guys want to get anything else out, I'm gonna turn it over to Dalia, and she's gonna wrap it up for us.
Um, I'm good.
So for future, I genuinely hope that, one day there's going to be a vaccine for this and we can go out and live for what is normal, because what we knew as normal, human touch was normal, such as a handshake, a hug, and now it's more of like, hey, you gotta stay 6 feet apart. And hopefully just, it will happen. And when you said, hey, let's like stop another pandemic, in my opinion, you really, in a way, you can't. As generations go on, there's gonna be more people on this earth, and it's the government's job as well to say, hey, you know what, we're gonna do this rapidly. And if you look at statistics and all of that, a lot of the countries where it did affect the most, now it's roles reversed. The United States has like one of the most high cases and hot spots. So we really just do have to have a better job at all of this. And that's just my take on it. Jaime, Ahmari, do you guys have anything else to say? Or Yelena, do you guys have any last things to say?
I
No,
agree with you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
For sure.
Agree.
Yes. Hopefully we'll go back to a place where we can, be humans and interact with each other like people would want to interact with each other. For sure.
Okay, so we are going to wrap this up, and our message to you is to hopefully put your mask on and live life safely and have a great rest of your week.